You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
Hey there, I'm Tricia.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are excited to be back around this table today talking about the little things. You're like, what in the world does that even mean? Well, it's the little things that we do each and every day that not only make our lives better, but make lives better for those around us. And we're going to talk about that today. Why do you think it is little things that really make the biggest difference?
Because I think we get opportunities. I'm sorry, Kelly, we're just excited. I'm excited. I think we get more opportunities to do little things than we get to do big things. So if you have the opportunity to do 10 little things to make someone's day better, it just is great. You can do that for 10 different people. We don't always get the opportunities to do the big things, but we almost always have a chance to do something little that matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those little things are unexpected. Big things you almost have to plan, but the little things can be surprises.
Yeah, absolutely they can.
And who doesn't love a surprise?
Oh my goodness, I love me some surprises. I think there's been a tendency in our world, I know we do it every day on the morning show called an act of kindness, but I hope that I think that we as believers can really set an example and really point people to Jesus through the little things that we do, through the ways that we act. A lot of times somebody will come up to me and say, I've been watching the way that you do such and so. I've been noticing the way that you do such and so. And sometimes it's the small ways that you teach or that you treat the people who are serving you. You know what boils my potatoes?
What is that a bad thing?
That is a bad thing.
Okay.
It boils my potatoes when I go out to a restaurant and I see people who are supposed to be believers who are so ugly to their waiters and waitresses. That boils my potatoes. Like, don't. Yeah. Like, you know what? They're working as hard, especially because I think our tendency is to live in this culture and to think that we're the only people that matter. And we're so selfish. We get so selfish about things. And, well, my tea glass is empty. Well, you gonna live. You are. You probably didn't need an extra glass anyway, but they'll pitch a fit over that and, leave a bad review or leave a bad tip. And, I think kindness always wins. Kindness is always the right road.
A person is defined by the little things they do. Right? I mean, we do way more little things than big things. So it's the little things that actually define who we are and what we believe.
And sometimes these little things are as simple as a smile.
Yes.
There was somebody in our office yesterday or a couple of days ago who somebody reached over and gave her like a side hug. And he said, "Is that okay that I gave you a hug?" And she said, "I needed that." And it took everything I had not to jump in her arms. I didn't know her from Adam's house cat. So jumping in her arms to hug her would have not been I wanted to hug her because I was like, you need a hug. And that's a little thing. That's a little thing we can do easily for other people is hug those people who are clearly needing and wanting hugs. Give them a smile.
You know what? I think a lot of times because I'm in my car so much and we talk a lot about road rage, I typically don't struggle with that. That's just not my thing. But one day here was the situation. I had somewhere to go. I was to be there at a certain time. I left too late to get there on time. So I was in a rush and I got behind this car and they were driving erratically and weaving in and out of traffic and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, I'm getting behind them. I'm following, see where they're because they were just driving like a crazy person. And I don't know what I was going to do, but they right before I had to make another turn and get off, they turned into the hospital. And it was like God tapping me on the shoulder going, you have no clue what that person's going through. So you just need to chill out. Like put yourself behind the steering wheel. And it happened again another day because I believe that there are more opportunities in Carline to be kind than anywhere else in the world because Carline will test everything in you.
It's true.
And there was one day in Carline, this lady was she just broke all the rules. You know, the car line rules. If you're a rule follower, you're like, you're not supposed to be doing that, you know. And she was just breaking all the rules. Well, come to find out, I pulled up and she and I were in different lanes, so I was turning the other way, and I happened to look over, and just big old tears were just flowing down her face. And I was like, I don't know her, and she may have just gotten bad news. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons, but all I could think about was me and what I needed to do and where I needed to go and what my time schedule was. And you know, I think I've really, in certain circumstances in my life, been reminded by God to just say, you have no clue what other people are going through. So you just need, I mean, is the world gonna end if you are 2 minutes late for your dentist appointment? No, it's not. Like, they're probably running behind anyway, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
we have a tendency to always think of ourselves instead of thinking of the other person. And I think that was a valuable lesson to me now, that when I get behind somebody or, you know, beside somebody in car line, I have no clue what they're going through and what they're dealing with. And so I need to be mindful of that, and to consider, you know, the scripture that says, consider others better than yourselves, you know?
Yes.
And then there's that great one in Luke, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Absolutely.
Now you're
The-
just meddling.
Yeah.
The self-centered piece of it, really, it's just steps on my toes, because I just, you know, especially when you're busy, you just think, well, here's what I've got to do. Here's the schedule I need to follow. And then, you know, I don't know if this happened to y'all. I've been like running late, running behind. I'm in the grocery store. I got to pick up 3 things to go home to make for dinner. And then here's this person who comes up, and there's this one person that I see from time to time, and I know she needs to talk, and I know she wants someone to listen to her. And literally I said to God, God, not today. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And so, but then he was like,
twice.
yes, you will. And so, yeah, I saw her twice. That's actually exactly true. And she saw me, which was, there ain't no turning back now. And I'm like, okay. And I felt God say, I want you to talk to her. I want you to love on her. And I literally had to turn my feet. I don't know if you know this, but there's a body thing we do when we don't want to talk to someone. We turn ourselves away, and you can see people's feet turning away from someone they don't want to turn to and talk to. And God is kind of reminded me of that. He's like, turn your feet to her, do, and talk to her and give her your attention and give her some of my love. And
now I'm gonna be looking at everybody's feet.
Look at their feet. It's fascinating. It's true. Notice your feet. When you're in a rush and you're trying to get away, your feet are going to be pointed away from that person. And then God's going to be like, tap, 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 turn those feeties.
Yeah.
So what are some of the little things that God has done through other people to you?
So I have, this is really, really, we live in a complex and we only have 2 parking spaces, right? And so one of my neighbors, her kids were coming in for the weekend. And so she sent me a text message and said, can we borrow your parking space? Because we have more vehicles than I have spaces. And I was like, sure, no problem, because I only have 1 vehicle, you know. So she borrowed our parking space. I didn't think anything about it. But a couple of days later, she showed up my door with these peanut butter chocolate bar things. And my kid was like, Mama, you got to get the recipe for that. Those were so good, you know. So it's just being a good neighbor. You know, I think it starts right there. Just be a good neighbor. That's been a little thing that we've experienced recently, both, you know, able to do something a little for somebody, but also to see a benefit to it. And she was so sweet to bring those by and to bless us in that way.
I have really benefited from a kind word, a text, or an email from a friend who acknowledges something. I mean, that just means a lot. A friend of mine texted me the other day and said something real sweet. And I just held on to that because she didn't know, but I was having kind of a tough day. And I just needed that little bit of reminding. And I don't know that she knew that. It just happened to be the time that she was able to send the text, but it was the perfect time that I needed to hear it.
Yeah, I think we probably have all gotten that text of praying for you at like just the right time. Like, you hiding in the bushes outside my house? Because I really needed that right now. Yeah. What about you,
Boiling
Kelly?
potatoes.
That's right.
My birthday was earlier this month,
Mhm.
and one of my girlfriends showed up at my house at the end of the day on my birthday with a balloon. Just a simple balloon. It's one of those balloons too that like will never go down. It's gonna go forever. So it's gonna be like the gift that keeps on giving. And every time I think of it, I'm gonna be reminded of this wonderful thing that this friend of mine did for me, who I love dearly. And
Mhm.
it's a simple thing. It's a little thing. It a major wasn't a major thing. And for me, those are the things I have a hard time with. My spiritual gift is quality. I mean, is hospitality, and my love language is quality time. And so for me, I want to do all the really big things. So having these ideas from you guys on how to do some of these little things is really helpful.
I tell you, he's just always working on me when I'm in the grocery store. I don't know about y'all, but he literally, honestly, I felt like God was telling me, you got to put that grocery cart back in the corral. Now, here's why. And I didn't think about it, but sometimes you're rushing and you want to just kind of leave it kind of close to your car. God's like, you need to put that back. And here's why, because somebody has to put that back. And it might be their job, but that's not an excuse. I'm making their life more difficult because I chose to leave that thing out, or I didn't put it back in, or I didn't, or he's always working with me on the grocery carts. I can't even just leave it in there. I got to connect it. And if there's the little ones and the big ones, he's made me move the little ones over to one side and the big ones over. I mean, I think it's just him constantly working on me to say, somebody's got to do this. Why not you? You could do this, and make that boy or that girl or that older person or whoever it is that's bagging the groceries and working, you could make their life better, because when they walk out, they're going to see those things organized. It wasn't hard for me. But it's just hilarious. The grocery store is like church. God's always teaching me something.
Tricia,
Yes.
you're our grocery store missionary, just so you know.
I don't do a very good job sometimes.
Yeah. So here's another thing that I have done for a little bit now. So when we go to the drive-through, when I drive up to the window and they want to be like all business, like throwing your food at you and getting your money and all that, before I will hand them my debit card, I say, "How are you doing today?"
Oh.
Or are you having a good day today? Like something that they have to stop, because they're so used to getting people in, and in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's so quick. But we have this new place in our town, and like, I don't think they know what to do with me yet, because I go through and I'm like, "You doing okay today? Staying warm?" When they have to open that window all day long. And it's just like, they just are like, "Yeah, good day." It's just like they don't know what to do with you. Asking first. Or when I get on the phone with somebody, that's another time too that I take advantage of that. When they answer the phone, "Thank you for calling such and so office. How may I direct your call?" Hey, before you do that, I just want to say, hey, how you doing today? You having a good day? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I'd like to speak to such and so. And you will be amazed, because people are like kind of taken off guard, because they just expect you to be all business and they want to get you in and out too, but to take a general interest in that person that's serving you. I've been really convicted about how I treat people who serve me in some way.
Oh, yeah.
And how can I serve them as well?
Yeah.
And
go
ahead.
The grocery store is a great place for that too, Tricia. That's where God does all the work on your heart. One of the things you can do that I have done, and I have seen the same thing Carol has seen, is all the people at the grocery stores wear name tags to call them by name when you go up to check out and say, "Hey, James, how are you doing today?" And it really,
that's lovely.
It breaks them up a little bit, but it like makes them also wonder why you're different. What is it?
Yeah.
What is it about you that makes you different? And why are you talking to me different? And it's an opportunity, even if we never say the name of Christ, it's an opportunity for us to show the love of Christ.
I think about that a lot, because let's say someone saw a good small thing we did for someone, a kindness, spending time talking to someone. Let's say they saw that and then they happen to see you in your car and it says the Light FM, or it has maybe, like a Bible verse or something like that. And they go, oh, I mean, that you're right. That's living it out and being the hands and the feet and the grocery store ministry people of Jesus.
And we're called to be holy and set apart, even in the grocery store, especially in the grocery store.
And I think that, just as if you wear a company logo on your shirt, like you realize that you are speaking for the company when you have that logo on, right?
Yes.
So, and I know a lot of times that we wear stuff with logos on it and we don't even think about it, but that all of our logos should be Jesus. Right. We wear his name around, and even though it may not be on our clothes and they may not know why, it may plant a seed in their mind to say, she was always kind to me. Mm-hmm. She was always nice to me. I ran into a girl that I went to high school with, and I hadn't seen her in as many years as I'd been in high school, but our kids were in some of the same activities. And I happened upon her, and she was talking to my daughter. And she said, I've always loved your mama. She said, even in school, she always included people who were on the fringes. Wow. And I didn't even realize I did that. I was like, but it meant so much to me. I need to go back and tell her how much that meant to me. But she said, you always included people. And I think it was really because it really was probably because I never fit in anywhere. And I just was like, y'all, come on, we can all not fit in together. I went through a really awkward phase 20 years of my life where I didn't fit in with anybody, and so I felt like I'd bring other people along to not fit in with me. But I'd really tried hard to include people because I knew what it was like to be left out. Mm-hmm. And so there's value in those little things, and including people and turning your feet and smiling when you don't have to, and asking how someone is when you don't have to. That all makes a big impact. And I think what we've happened upon here is that the little things really are big things.
Mm-hmm. They matter, and people remember them. Obviously, if this friend of yours has remembered this for, a couple of years.
Easy.
It made an impression, and the kindness that we offer other people is lasting.
Absolutely, it is. They will know we are Christians by our love, right? So let's go out today and love well. Do the little things. Make a difference. Go the extra mile to love today. We love you so great big, and we love you being a part of this community. Email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. Join the Girlfriends of the Girl Talk Facebook page, and we will see you next time we gather right here around these microphones for the Girl Talk podcast.